I know M2's done some nice Hakos, but this one here is my favorite. By the way, Greenlight released their sample photo today of the casting, not the art rendering, but the actual casting. So looks pretty good, but as always with pictures, gotta reserve judgment till you have the casting in hand. Back on the 510. This is a great little casting. Any of you Greenlight collectors should probably have this one in your collection. I know that this one doesn't show up very well on my camera, so for that I apologize, but it is better than nothing at all. Really cool little casting though, and these tail lights on it, some of the best tail lights I think Greenlight has ever done. They're very nice. I mean, there's a huge contrast from the M2 taillights and the Greenlight taillights. Now, I know this is a 510 and a Skyline, and you know, the M2 510 taillights are much different than the Skyline. They're actually lensed inserts, unlike this. But they don't have, I don't know, I just don't think they have as clean of a look. But M2 still did a really nice job with the taillights on the 510 though. But overall, I think I like this tooling better. And it's not because of my bias for Greenlight. I think more than anything, it's just the fact that this is a two-door. Honestly, if the M2 was a two-door, then I think I'd probably choose the M2. As not to take away from the Greenlight 510 casting, though, because it is a really nice little casting. Definitely a casting that is worth picking up. I haven't shown this car in a while. That is an old school M2. This thing is a boat. There it is next to the Skyline. So both of these are M2 castings. And that's probably a pretty lifelike representation of how the cars would sit next to each other. The Cadillac is going to be much longer and wider than the Skyline. But those two cars right there, they really, it's a good representation of the range of M2. But even with their range, from a 71 Skyline to a 57 Cadillac, I think is what this is. 59 Cadillac. Even with that range, excuse me, it doesn't compete with the range of Greenlight, where you have a 68.5 Roadrunner, an 87 Mustang, a 1970 Datsun 510, or 68 rather. So 68.5 Roadrunner, 68 510, 87 Mustang, and not to mention the Trans Am and the Corvette. Greenlight's range is really not matched. I think the only domestic company that matches it as far as tooling catalog goes is Johnny Lightning, but their execution sucks compared to Greenlight. So, anyways, we got a couple more of these to look at here. Got the Gremlin. Got this beautiful 1980 Nissan Skyline, known as the Japan Skyline. Kyosho makes some beautiful Skyline castings. They also make some beautiful Alfa Romeo castings. That is the Montreal. That is an anniversary Corvette. Very nicely executed by Greenlight. I wouldn't call it flawless. This car does have some issues to it. To me, the biggest issue is the stance. The front end is a little bit too high. But other than that, I think it's a very nicely done car. Especially with this deco. There's so much detail in this anniversary Corvette. Everything from the pinstriping on the wheels to the hood graphics to the pinstriping on the car. That skirt on the nose, I don't know what those are called, but man, it's just a very, very nicely executed car. And then on the back, you've got the spoiler, which is a separate piece, and very nicely detailed taillights. And you have those exhaust pipes coming out of the bumper. It's just an awesome car. Those aren't exhaust pipes, but from that angle it kind of looked like it. A rad little car. This thing displays awesome too. It looks great up in the case. And then another M2 with the 49 Merc. One of the few M2 castings outside of the Auto Japan line that made its way home with me. This one was just too nice to pass up. The fact that it's an auto driver, no opening, no articulating parts, funny stuff. It's got a really nice paint job on it. And it's just a beautiful casting. And of course, the Greenlight Trans Am. There is no substitute. As nice as the Johnny Lightning is, it's in the little leagues. This car right here is in the majors. Much nicer. Much better proportions on this car. It's scaled much more accurately. The detail on this car is much better than the Johnny Lightning. Let's better look at it here. Where Auto World wins the day on the second gen Trans Am, Greenlight wins the day on this one. I don't know if this is a third gen or fourth gen. I know throughout the 70s, for the most part, the Trans Am had the same body style. But there might have been enough changes to where they to where they change the generation. So there you go. Some unique diecast. A lot of brands represented in this video. We have Greenlight, Revell, M2, Racing Champions, Motor Max, Kyosho. So, not all the brands, but a good number of them. And this video tonight is basically brought to you out of pure boredom. I did start over here on the lot. I gotta add another layer of joint compound. Probably do that here before I go to bed, and then tomorrow it'll be dry and I can sand it down, get it ready for paint. I'm just gonna paint a little driveway, and then over here I'm gonna put a yard, maybe a split rail fence, and then I'm just gonna have a little house with a yard, just a nice little backdrop for videos and photos and that kind of stuff. I need to a couple things I need to do with the backdrop. This is basically just a poster board. I need to grab some more of those, but I was thinking about just getting a big piece of felt that's around that color, something that I can wrap around the entire layout so that regardless of the angle there's sky. But I also need to add some background, because obviously, you know, from here it looks like we're sitting on the top of a cliff, and that's not cool. That's not realistic. So all of that stuff's in the works. I have a 3-day weekend, so my goal is to finish this part here by the end of Monday. And obviously, I don't want to spend too much time on it, but when you're working on stuff like this, a lot of it is letting the spackle dry, letting the paint dry, letting the glue dry. That stuff is time consuming. The rest of it doesn't take much time at all. But the rest of the layout is going to pretty much stay as it is. I might make a few changes down here. This house, which is basically a paper kit that Hobby Lobby sells, they're like $4 with the 40% off. But they also do a log cabin, and they go together very easy. There's no scissors or tape or glue required. Everything that you need comes with it. But they also do a log cabin that I think might look good down here. So I'm not probably going to grab that. I'm definitely going to grab it, because for $4, it's like, if it doesn't work out, who cares? So I'll do that. And then obviously I need to add trees. No layout looks complete without trees. The problem with the trees is they are the most expensive part of the layout. So, but anyways, so that's where I'm at with that. I know a lot of you guys don't care. Layout videos, the few layout videos that I've done, or diorama videos, like how to do a diorama, they are the least watched, least popular videos that I put out. So anyways, here's some cool diecast for you. I landed tonight a couple of really cool cars off of the internet. So in a week or two, one of them shipping from Japan, so won't see that one for a couple of weeks, but they will definitely make for some good content. And I'm not done. In fact, I'm probably going to turn this off, put another layer of this stuff down, and then I'm probably going to head right to eBay. So There you go, friends. Happy die casting. Ooh, what's that? Cars. That's a lot of cars. I wonder if there's anything good in those. All right. Later, everybody.